They have dropped their halfback, Lachlan Ilias, and after only 2 games of the regular season, both losses, Lachlan feels the brunt of it. What are our thoughts on this, Kenty?
Oh, look, I thought he had a disappointing game on the weekend, but I think if you start to peel back the layers at the club, it's basically it's a bandage solution. I think the problems are greater at the club. We all know that, and I think this guy's been made a scapegoat, to be honest. I think there's bigger names there that should be stepping up before.
I think it's a soft decision, considering if you've got a State of Origin number 9, a State of Origin number 6, and Latrell, who's one of the best players in the game, and you're pinning all your hopes on a rookie number 7. I don't think he's the problem. I'm going back to the Raiders when they had Steve Walters, Laurie Daly, and the fullbacks Gary Belcher. You don't blame a rookie number 7 if they lose. There's 3 really experienced spine members there, and I think that poor Lock, and he's not playing well, and but I don't think South Sydney is either.
He was pretty good in round 1. I mean, it's a bit harsh to say he didn't play well in round 1. He pulled off one of the tackles of the season in round 1, or will be at the end of the year. He had a tough night the other night. But you're right, Kenny. To me, I'm a bit the same. It feels like a scapegoat decision to me.
Well, look,
because there's other guys who aren't playing well in that footy team, and this is a kid who only last year the coach said will be one of the great halfbacks of South Sydney history. Yeah. Gave him all the support he needed at that point. 2 games into the season, he's gone.
And because push comes to shove. And at the moment, the problems, South Sydney are a very slow team. The amount of breaks they made the other night and how quickly the Brisbane players picked them up in space was frightening if you're a Souths fan. Their forwards, they haven't bashed a forward pack up for some time.
A long time.
A long time. So they're a problem. Now, if you're a halfback playing behind that forward pack, you're battling. And then there's the problem of the honesty and accountability within the team, which was a problem last year. They all told us it got addressed over the summer. Some said it got addressed. Some said there's no problem here in the first place, which immediately spoke of a problem that still exists. And it's become apparent after 2 weeks. It's still there. It's still a problem. Yeah. And until South Sydney actually sit down and have a proper honesty session and not just sit there and play games and pretend to each other it's all okay, it will continue all year.
They do have a few, they do have some excuses. With no Graham and like Jack White, and I think defensively they got exposed because of Katoni Stakes. They had too much speed from out wide. But you made a good point with their forward pack. Since Sam Burgess and Teo was in their pack and George and the like, they used to go out and probably intimidate sides. I don't think the South Sydney pack has.
And you look at their forwards, there's a lot of same shapes. Whereas they don't have a big 6'4", 6'5" bloke that comes into the side like the other side's got like a Nelson or a Soft Solana. Look, Manly on the weekend. Like they've got big blokes. And in normal circumstances, the South guys are still big by normal society. But in footy terms, they're not big. And they don't put any... There's no damage when they got the ball.
I haven't seen any change at all from last year. Not a single change in their preparation or what they've done in the pre-season, whatever that may have been. I haven't seen any evolution on their performances at the back end of last year heading into this year. Doesn't help too that Arrow and Graham were supposed to be on that right-hand side to start the season, so that hasn't helped as well. But while Rabbitohs players are backing incoming half Dean Hawkins, they're confident that Lachlan Ilias will bounce back.
I think it's just a great opportunity for Dino. He's obviously got New South Wales Cup Player of the Year last year, and he led his team to a final and then beat the Queensland side, and he's been training the house down this pre-season too, and so he's earned that opportunity. And obviously it's an unfortunate part of the game, and people have to miss out, but Lockie's been really good about it. He obviously trained really well this morning in the reserve side, and I'm sure he's just taking it on the chin and moving forward. Lockie not playing isn't about us not playing well. Like the responsibility about our results haven't fallen on his shoulders at all. It shouldn't be put that way at all because it's not his fault. It's all of our responsibility to step up and play our best footy. No, he's a young superstar, mate. The hard times make the good times better, and he knows that. It's just one of them situations where he'll bounce back from. As I said before, he's a great player and someone I really look forward to playing with.
With your experience in the halves, did you put your hand up?
No, mate, as I said, I'm here to do whatever the team needs me to do, and at the moment it's play left centre, and that's what I'm really excited to do.
Yeah, all his teammates, Lachlan Ilias' teammates there from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, backing him to bounce back and come back from this setback. And me being anyone who watches NRL 360 would know that I manage Lachlan. I spoke to him today, and he's an amazing kid. He's got a great work ethic, and he's taken it in his stride, and he puts the team first. So I expect him to have no problems at all getting back at some point.
The problem with South Sydney is, my understanding is, he had, I think, one kick in the first half the other night against Brisbane. Now, as halfback, he should be the predominant kicker. He had one kick. That was taken out of his hands on the field. Decisions were made. Now, for the Dean Hawkins who's coming in, by all accounts, very talented. We've seen him play before. We can see he's got something.
What changes with Hawkins?
Well, that's my point's this. My point is, if Hawkins comes in and the same players that took control off Lachlan Ilias take control off him, nothing changes. And that's the issue. Let's peel back this halfback situation at the moment and try to get to this deeper level of what's wrong at South, which nobody at South seems willing to do. Sam Burgess dared speak up about it last year, and Sam got rissoled, and he's now over at Warrington. There's got to be some accountability in there, and it seems like everybody's avoiding problems within the running of the team.
It feels like the whole thing's on the verge of imploding. And we were all watching it before the season started because this was one of these stories. They lost, I think, they won 4 of their last 11 last year to drop out of the 8 from memory. Or 4 of the last 13, actually. And now it's 4 out of 15. It just feels like this club's on the brink.
It was highly predictable, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like at the back end of last year, you could see it unfolding, and then you thought, could they change all of that in a pre-season? A lot of work would have to go into that.
There could be some honesty, Brett.
That's the thing,
But
right?
Brett, how does a rookie half come in with 3 dominant players
This is the thing, Gordy.
and just take the reins and run the team?
Gordy,
It's hard to do.
Everyone's saying he should be running the team, right? And they're saying whoever comes in should run the team. There is no young half in this competition, that I believe, that could go into that team with the strong personalities that they have and run that side. Who could do it? Apart from Cleary and maybe Reynolds.
Yeah, but you wouldn't classify them as young halves.
No.
See?
No,
your point.
But
There's
that's
no
my
young
point. That's my
halves.
point, though.
I know.
That's
Yes.
my point.
And Cherry Evans would probably
But he's not
call
a young
a few
half
shots,
too.
right?
So that's what I'm saying. So they
That's
want
right.
him to do the job, but it's easier said than done. It's not an easy job.
So, Braith, is that the coach has to pull those blokes in the line and say,
Oh, you answer that
you
one.
know,
I'm not
it
answering
has to be, doesn't it?
Well, the coach has to, and then someone else at the club has to support the coach.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to. If it's just the coach, it's then going to become a problem with coaching players. So someone at the club who's got a little bit of pull, and there's quite a few people, big personalities at the club, who's got to get involved and say, for the sake of the team, we need to fix it. The big problem is going to be that the playmakers that have taken control, which is the 5'8" and the fullback predominantly, honestly don't believe there's a problem.
Well,
They might actually believe that, right? But clearly it seems like there's a problem for others there. So at some point there needs to be some sort of talk about breaking down whatever the barrier is between the players who are running the team and what needs to happen within the team, where they can find some common ground and actually understand each other's problems. Because at the moment, when one's in denial and one's not taking the ball up as far as the honest discussion, it's just this big pile
Well,
of...
the other issue is the coach is in the fight for survival now. And his best hope of surviving is to win footy games. His best hope of winning footy games is for Latrell and Cody and the big guns in that team to fire up. He can't upset them.
Well, the pressure's on the
because
coach now.
His job's he's on massive scrutiny.
Yeah, he's dropped a player, and so now it's really on him to get performances and get victories. And retired Rabbitohs winger Josh Mansour has poured more fuel on the fire, criticising Jason Demetriou's communication style in an explosive interview with James Graham. Take a look.
I probably didn't see eye to eye with the coach. There was just multiple conversations which didn't go the way that he was saying was going to go. Round 1 comes, he names the side on Tuesday, and I was in the team. Captain's run, I'm coming in, and I get a text from him to come into his office. And I thought it was a bit bizarre. He told me that he was going to rest me for that week. And I was like, rest me for that week? Like, it's round 1. Taffy got ruled out, so I'm back into the team. It was a weak game. I ended up scoring the only try that game for us. I think it was like 8-6 or something. It was a weak game. No conversations. I ended up getting dropped to reserve grade. And then I get back into the team. We win 3 out of our 4. We smash Manly. Next week, I'm assuming I'm going to be in the team. I named the team to play, and I was in the team. And then he texted me again on captain's run. And I'll go, I think I know. I had a feeling it was going to be the same conversation I had round one. I go, hey, mate, what's going on? He goes, oh, I'm straight off the bat, I'm going to rest you this week. I'm like, oh, what for? And he goes, oh, I thought you missed too many tackles last week. And I go, can you show me? And there was one, it was a 4-on-2 on the short side, 10 metres off our line, tipped onto the winger, and I tried diving on a last-ditch tackle. I'm like, what do you want me to do there? Yeah. Like, I did my best. He goes, yeah, that was a bit harsh. And the other one was, I kind of just bumped off him, re-grip, and I go, am I getting dropped for that? And he just couldn't answer me. And then he tried like rewinding for weeks before. He was trying to show my missed tackles. And I go, whoa. I go, am I getting dropped for my performance last week? Am I getting dropped for something that was weeks ago? And he didn't answer me. We get to the end of the year and we're in the video room and they say, oh, we're going to put on a little farewell video for the guys that are leaving and I want to thank them for their time. And then I was the first one there. I didn't even know that I was leaving.
Ooh, that's a bit harsh. I shouldn't laugh. But now I watched that with Jimmy Graham and I was fascinated by it. I just couldn't I was on my phone, I couldn't put it down because it was, you rarely see an ex-player, an experienced player, one that's been in a lot of clubs, a lot of coaches, come out and just, I suppose, be so vocal the way that he was and so passionate about it, which, we've been hearing the rumblings out of South for quite a while, but from an actual player who had experienced it, Josh certainly didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, look, where that marries up with what's currently happening at the club is that there seems like an avoidance for the difficult conversation.
Yeah, tough conversation.
That's what's been missed. And that's the greatness of Wayne Bennett, who was there before Jason Demetriou, and who ran the club very tightly and had good control over the playing group. Wayne Bennett's very good at the honest conversation. He'll tell you might not like to hear it, but at least you know where you are. Yeah. Whereas some club coaches, they do like to sit there and say to you, look, not make you feel bad, give you a little bit of hope, so they give you a bit of a sugar pill. Okay, mate, this is why we dropped you. But ultimately the truth comes out. And this is what's happening at South. And their refusal to address it, which began last season, which we were all told over the summer, had been addressed, and which is still clear this early in the season, is all that needs to be fixed. It's hard, but it's easy.
Well, you're talking about Wayne Bennett as a 70-year-old. When he made his first decision when he was 40, they ran a poll and he was getting sacked on TV. He sacked Wally Lewis. He moved him on. Glenn Lazarus, everybody at that club.
Wayne never wavered, Gordon, in that area.
No, but like then he was prepared to make the tough decision and put his own job on the line because in the end, if you keep on making soft decisions, the players are going to get you sacked.
But Gordy, as a player, what do you want from your coach in terms of communication?
Honesty, because we play a man's game, right? So let's be honest, right? So we play a really tough sport, and if I'm worried about a conversation, don't worry about the 120-kilo bloke I'm going to play on the weekend. So I want honesty, just to give me the truth, and if I'm not in a team, just tell me how I get back in it.
So what happens?
Ansel also says in a video that when a coach believes in him, he says, "I'll give it."
That's every player. That's every player.
And that's what every player feels that way. And yet, he said, once that little circle of trust there was broken with the coach, he withdrew a little bit, and that can be fatal.